Hi, I'm Jared, and today's drawTALK is going to be about tools. A lot of times when I would see other artists and see their work that I really liked, I had no idea what they were using. And even if they told me, I didn't really get it. It's like, oh, you're using these fancy pens. What the hell does that mean? So I'm going to tell you what it means, what I use them for, and then you can decide on what you want. So, to start, pencils. Pencils are probably the standard of drawing for everybody. Pencils are important. And I use a lot of them. I actually really only use a couple anymore, but these are the pencils that I keep out at all times. First, let's start with this red Pentel. I really like Pentel for the most part. They make really nice products. Their pencils stand up really well. And this one is using red lead. Note, put the red lead in the red pencil. Red I use a lot for underlining, doing the rough shapes. It really I really like having that nice red underline because it gets you. It's almost like the blueprint except red, so red print. Next is a blue pencil. It's also a Pentel. These are all 0.5 for the most part. I think I have one that's 0.7 because I like the little bit of thickness here and there. Actually, I don't think the 0.7's in here. Anyways, the blue one, which I usually like, I do the same thing with the blue, doing the rough outlines. Or sometimes I'll use the blue to add clothing on the outlines because it really helps separate out a little bit. See? So that way you get your clothing on top of. These two here, they're both Uniball or Uni, using the Uni Kuru Toga. Somebody I read it mentioned these once, and I've been hooked ever since. These pencils are awesome. They use it. The grip here is really nice. It always keeps it. What's really neat is the way you hold it. It always makes this turn, which keeps the lead kind of even. And then the lead that you can buy specifically for this, it's diamond infused. I'm not really sure if it actually is, but it is a lot harder to break randomly. So when you're using it, I notice a lot of pencils when you're doing this break. And if you notice, it stays nice, it's fairly uniform through too in size and thickness. But I mean, I'm pushing pretty hard. This isn't breaking. A lot of cheaper leads will do that. This is a good pencil, a good lead, and I use the dark to go over all my lines too. And then add in the details that weren't necessarily there before. This guy's really crazy looking. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. These two pencils, they're Pentels, they're 0.5s. I used to really like this style before I found the Kuru Toga. These are also good as side clickers. This pencil in particular I've had for literally 8 or 15 years. I've used this ever since 7th, 8th grade. My math is probably wrong because I haven't really thought about how much time it's been since then, and I don't really want to because that means I'll feel old. But yeah, I love these pencils just because of nostalgia. But they're also nice pencils, and they're durable, they hold up well. As far as pens go, okay, so I've got a few. There's the microns, which you'll see in you can even find those in Walmart. I don't like them. I think they wear out real quick. Something about them I just didn't like. These Sharpie pens, they're cheap and they're awesome. They're very durable. The tips hold up really well. They got a nice thickness, nice darkness. You can get, if you're careful, you can get really fine lines, or you can be really kind of thick with it, and it doesn't seem to mash up the tip too much either. The other one's a little bit more expensive I've spent money on are Copics. Copics are fantastic in quality. These ones in particular are nice, but they're not like traditional. This one is a brush. But they're not quite like usual Copics so that you can replace the nibs and refill them. But these come in all different sizes. And they're durable, they hold up well, the ink is really nice. It doesn't seem to bleed very easily. Really solid consistency through the coloring. These ones are the ones with replaceable nibs and refillable ink. these are really nice. I have noticed that on some of them, the nibs have started to mash a little bit. So I've been actually using my Sharpie pen a lot more lately because I'm afraid to mash up the nibs too much because I don't want to keep replacing them. Next are markers. I stayed away from markers for so long, but I've really been using them a lot. I use a couple different, whatever I can get my hands on really. I've got some Copics. These are the Copics here. They're really nice. Copics are expensive, and I'll tell you why. Because look at it. I mean, it's very smooth, and when it dries, it's going to be all the same color. You're not going to get streaking or weirdness. Sometimes I use Sharpies when I can, but you know that everything smells like a Sharpie. You can kind of see all your lines, even once it's dried. Prismacolors, also very nice for coloring. They're pretty similar in vein of Copics. Once it dries, the colors it'll all kind of bleed together. Sometimes you have to do 2 or 3 passes with Prismacolors, which they're still nice, but it takes a little extra work. I've also been getting these little fine brush Prismacolors. They're really nice for detail work, like if you want to do some eyes in green, or maybe this guy can have green teeth. I don't know why he'd have green teeth. Maybe he doesn't brush. It's gross. And then like just Sharpie tips, or the fine tip Sharpies, and that's really about it. So Pentels, Kuru Toga pencils, Copic Markers, Copic Pens, Copic Liners. Oh, I've been using jelly rollers a lot too. I'll get to that in a second because you're not going to see it on here. Actually, a lot of what I've been doing lately have been in some tan paper, and I'm just going to draw a basic head. Here's some stupid eyes and a silly mouth. What I do is outline it, and it makes it stand off with the color more. But I'll show you a couple of those in a minute. Now on the paper, this piece of paper in particular, it's Bristol. I don't know if you've never worked with Bristol board, you get it by Strathmore. It's cheap. You get a handful of sheets. This is from my other video. It's really white, really thick. Nothing's going to leak through it. It's also archival, so it's not going to yellow over time. It feels a little bit more like cardstock. It's really nice, but I don't use it for everything because a lot of times I'm just sketching, and it's not really important to have fancy-ass paper for sketching. This is actually the Hobbit edition of Moleskine. I love Moleskine sketchbooks. I've gone through probably 8 or 9 of these already, and I've been using them for about 4 years, almost exclusively. The paper is really nice. It does bleed a little, and it is a little on the see-through side, so when you finish one, you can kind of see it through the back, and if you push kind of harder on the front, you're going to get the rub through. You're going to get lines on the paper underneath. While it's just the indentation, it's kind of annoying, so sometimes I skip pages. But Moleskine is really nice. They're pretty affordable. I think this ran about $12-15, and it's a couple hundred pages at least of worth of sketching. Another one I've been using a lot is Strathmore Toned Tan paper. I didn't really get it until I saw an artist, I think it was Mel Milton or Rene Cordova. They do art where it's like, this is just dumb practice, but let me find a good one. What's really cool about this is, okay, so you got your drawing and you outline it with the white jelly roller. Actually, these ones work better they're just the jelly rolls. I forget the brand, Sakura maybe. I'll put all the links in the comments. But anyway, so it makes it pop off the page. Plus the tan, it's instant skin color, and if you don't do the outline, it can really just blend in. Doesn't really look like you did anything special. Like here, there's no outline, and it's a drawing. It's on paper, big whoop. But here, you got a little bit of color. The outline really makes it pop out, and you've got a color built in for skin tone. This one over here, I actually went through and colored it in, so it's colored in the background. It makes it pop out more, and you still got that great skin tone. So yeah, with this drawing. It's like the best face I've done in a long time. But anyways, that's really pretty much it. I'll put all the links in the comments, like I said. Oh, refills. I've got a whole bag of refills for erasers, leads, and I think you'll just acquire. Never run out of lead. That's the worst thing ever, to run out of lead when you're trying to draw. So I keep plenty. I have just a little bit of red lead left. All the leads I usually get are Pentel, just because I like Pentel, except for that Kuru Toga diamond one, which they don't have in blue and red, at least not last I saw. I'm kind of hoping they come out with that. I have a 0.3 pencil, but I almost never use it. If I'm going to do something that fine detail, I just use a 0.3 Copic, which they have these in 0.7, and this particular one is 0.1, 0.3, 0.7, and 0.03, so it gets really fine. And then to carry everything, this is actually a Logitech case from, I don't even know what, some Logitech product I had. I probably still have. I have a lot of Logitech stuff. And I just really liked it because it's got a nice feel to a beanie or whatever. And I use my portal bag from ThinkGeek. And I just shove all my markers in here. Pens that I use frequently in the front. See, here's one of my microns. This is old. I've had this since probably 10, 12 years ago, and it still works pretty well. So I just don't like it that much, but it's good in a pinch. And that's it. Oh, I've got a big tone tan. I don't use this often because I don't usually like to carry around my tone tan, or carry around a giant sketchbook with me. But I like to have it just in case. And yeah, that's it. That's my tools. If you have any questions about them, just let me know. Thanks a lot.